Tell me how Love What Matters came to be.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I can't really talk about it without mentioning my mom because she pretty much inspired the entire thing. So our mother had ovarian cancer and she had breast cancer. She beat the breast cancer, but what typically ends up happening is you build up kind of a resistance to the chemotherapy for ovarian cancer. And so, she had a couple of years with that, and she fought valiantly, but lost her life ultimately to ovarian cancer. And so during those last couple of months, we would go and see her, us being in New York and her in Florida, and kind of have these private moments with her. And, she would always say to me, I want you to take all the grief that you're going to feel and let it fuel you and put it into something and create something beautiful. Um, and so of course she was right, and she, as soon as she was gone, I was left with this kind of hole of trying to find meaning, but it made me pay attention more to all of these struggles, whether it's, illness or grief, losing someone you love, or just the daily kind of raw, things of being a parent, and dealing with a 2-year-old, um, and a million other things. So I think she was really kind of the driving force that kind of made me wake up and pay attention to, all of the things that everybody battles day to day.
Right. So when did she pass away?
She passed away 2013. So
Okay. So she dies and you're left with kind of the message that she gave you to, turn your grief into a purpose or whatever. Is that when you decided, oh, I'm gonna launch a website, or was it originally a social media outreach? How did that whole thing start?
yeah, so I started building on Facebook. I kind of already had this concept of, capturing these, trying to find stories that were uplifting in the everyday. And so I had that on Facebook. I had a page of about 5,000 people.
Hmm.
And so then when I lost my mom, it kind of just turboed everything. And in those days on Facebook, you could, if you had the right stories and you were first and it was original, all of that together compounded into, we were adding 50,000 people a day. So yeah, it was, if you're able to be first, and I don't know if you can still do that today there, but that's what the page was doing. So, I think that page built up to about 8 million people rather quickly, and that's kind of where we are today.
How do you find these stories?
So it's a mix, really. I think, people will reach out to us directly and submit. But then also we have a team of people that really kind of handhold and work directly with people to kind of like carefully craft these stories. So I would say it's a mix.
And you mentioned you have a team, so it's not just you running it.
Yeah, it's mostly I would say, it's a lot of freelance help that kind of pitch in.
Right. So they find the stories and then are they writing up kind of like short news stories and posting it on your website, or is it just going on your Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, it's a mix of basically we call it native on Facebook and then website as well. So site stories and native, kind of a combination.
What is it about the type of content you're producing that you think attracts people to it?
I mean, we started as being really more good news, inspirational, but I think when you really take a step back and look at some of these stories, it's just honest, right? It's raw, it's real, it's authentic, and a lot of them, they're not all good news, but they end on a kind of overcoming something note, which is good news. But it's more about, okay, if I'm reading this, it's cathartic for me to read it, and if I'm going through the same thing, I can kind of relate to that and take some comfort in that. And if I'm writing it, it's cathartic as well because I'm able to process that more and think about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true because everybody goes through some sort of hardship and it might not end in the best way possible, but you at least learn something and are able to move forward. Um, how do you foresee the future of Love What Matters? I mean, do you plan to expand even further or
Yeah, I think we're definitely trying to figure out what the next foothold looks like. I think, we're playing with podcasts a little bit, we're playing with video. I think, we see a lot of opportunity there. Certainly, as you mentioned, with Facebook and Meta and what they're doing with video and even traffic now to publishers. I think they're kind of reinvigorating their efforts there. So I think we're hopeful. We see a lot of upside and just trying to keep moving forward.
And I guess if people are watching this or reading our story, they can submit if they have a story that they think might fit with your platform. You have a place for them to submit or email.
Yeah, they can just go to lovewhatmatters.com and there's a submission portal there.